from Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
More than a year since the pandemic wreaked havoc in the country, a lot of Filipinos continue to worry about catching the dreaded disease. A survey by the social weather stations from April 28 to May 2 shows 89% of Filipinos are worried of getting the virus. The number of Filipinos who think that the worst of the pandemic is yet to come also rose. From 31% in November last year, it's gone up to 49% in May. But who wouldn't be worried, especially with the rise in infections in various regions of the Philippines? The Southern Philippines Medical Center in Davao City, the country's largest public hospital, now has a filled intensive care unit with isolation wards 98% occupied. But the hope for improvement remains after Davao City was placed under modified enhanced community quarantine beginning June 5th.
You know, we have to balance the economy also, no, and the health. So I think with that days na nabigyan sa amin, baka I can see na mag-improve siguro, ma-contain namin yung virus.
A health official in Region 7 meanwhile defends the test upon arrival protocol for returning overseas Filipinos in Cebu, saying it actually has benefits.
If we conduct the testing upon arrival as contained in the EO of the governor, it only means, number one, we catch the cases very early on. So kapag ka-positibo, kaagad na-quarantine natin siya. Pangalawa po, we save on cost.
President Duterte earlier instructed Health Secretary Francisco Duque to critique the province's protocol. And while the agency is set to hand its recommendation to Mr. Duterte, it emphasized that the recommendations are based on scientific evidence.
Atin pa rin pong binibigay na posisyon ng Department of Health, of course, is yun pong mga napagkasunduan sa IATF, which are all based on evidence and based on science. At ito po ang ating isinusulong na maipatupad sa lahat ng riyon sa ating bansa para po ma-break natin ang chain of transmission nitong COVID-19.
On Friday, the Philippines logged 7,450 new infections, the highest in the past week. It also logged the fewest recoveries at 2,382 since the DOH shifted to daily time-based tagging of recoveries. For the DOH, the continued worry over the raging pandemic should be seen as an opportunity.
We would like to shift this into a positive light. They perceive na ang COVID-19 is still a risk. We can take that opportunity para mas i-encourage silang magpabakuna.
For Dr. Edsel Salvana, COVID-19 will continue to be a concern until many Filipinos are vaccinated.
Whatever happens naman, kahit bakunado na po tayo ng COVID, ang COVID kasi constantly nagmi-mutate, pwede magkaroon ng bagong variants. It's not something that we will say na, okay, nabakunahan na ako, tapos na to para sa akin. It may be true for you in terms of decreased severity ng illness, hindi ka na mamamatay sa COVID, pero marami pa po sa ating mga kababayan ang hindi nababakunahan.
From the original 14 days, fully vaccinated individuals arriving in the Philippines from abroad will now only be required to undergo a 7-day quarantine period. This is according to the COVID-19 task force, which agreed to relax testing and quarantine protocols.
Lahat ng papasok na fully vaccinated individuals ay kailangan sumailalim sa 7-day facility-based quarantine pagdating ng Pilipinas. Kailangan tiyakin ang striktong symptom monitoring habang nasa quarantine facility ng 7 araw. Pagkatapos ito ay magsi-self-monitor na ang pasahero.
According to the IATF, an individual is considered fully vaccinated at least 2 weeks after receiving their second dose of COVID-19 vaccine, or 2 weeks after being administered with a single-dose vaccine. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says these individuals will only be required to take an RT-PCR test if they manifest COVID-19 symptoms during their 7-day facility-based quarantine.
Pagkatapos makakumpleto ng 7 araw sa facility-based quarantine, mag-i-issue ang Bureau of Quarantine ng quarantine certificate kung saan nakalagay ang vaccination status ng pasahero.
Roque meanwhile clarified that these relaxed protocols will only apply to individuals who have been vaccinated in the Philippines and that Filipinos or foreign nationals inoculated abroad would still need to comply with the IATF's regular testing and quarantine protocols after arriving in the country. He says the IATF will soon release new guidelines for inbound passengers who have been vaccinated outside the country. Meanwhile, the Department of Health is studying the possibility of placing green lanes in ports and airports that would reduce the mandatory 14-day quarantine and skip COVID-19 testing requirements for fully vaccinated individuals. The DOH says these green lanes may be implemented as soon as the Philippines reaches several vaccination targets.
Ang rekomendasyon ay merong 30% sa ating mga eksperto na population coverage yan tinatawag. Pero ang isa nilang gustong ipunto rin, gusto nilang makita na at least 50% of senior citizens are also vaccinated. Walang final, ito ay mga rekomendasyon pa lang.
Meanwhile, the Philippine government has also exempted from the ongoing travel ban the repatriation efforts for Filipinos stranded in India, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Oman, and the United Arab Emirates, even if these were not organized by the Philippine government. The IATF says all Filipino repatriates from these countries must be able to present a negative RT-PCR test result taken within 48 hours prior to boarding the aircraft or vessel back to the Philippines. The IATF says government-organized repatriation, meanwhile, must coordinate with government agencies such as the Department of Foreign Affairs and OWA at least 48 hours before departing for the Philippines.
The Energy Department allays fears of 11-hour rotational brownouts. This after Luzon experienced a dip in power supply from May 31 to June 2, resulting to Luzon-wide outages. Speaking before the House Committee on Energy, DOE Secretary Alfonso Cusi explains several factors are to blame for the outages.
We have the capacity, but unfortunately, bumagsak nga lang po yung planta. Masyadong mainit ang panahon, tumaas na bigla ang demand, sumabay ng bagsak yung mga planta po.
The Energy Regulatory Commission also said these power plants are getting older and important spare parts were either delivered late or were not delivered at all, which led to delays in their scheduled repairs.
We have noticed, Your Honors, that most plants in Luzon are 16 years and older. As power plants get older, even if we give them planned maintenance period, because they're old, they cannot be that efficient anymore.
De Vanadera also said the government did not receive on time the grid operating and maintenance program schedule of power plants. But there's a glimmer of hope. With several power plants set to be back in service by July 1st, electricity consumption is also expected to go down when the rainy season arrives. Former party list lawmaker Nery Colmenares, for his part, asserts it is time for the national government to revisit its transmission development plan to connect power plants from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao to a nationwide power grid.
Since I was a congressman, Mr. Chair, I've been hearing about this transmission development plan na i-efficiently connect yung buong bansa, etc. So, ano nangyari doon? Kung what happened to the Mindanao, Visayas, Luzon interconnection grid? If this interconnection project was completed on time, could it have helped avoid the lack of supply? Kasi kung it could have helped, di tapusin pala natin yan.
The committee has called on concerned government officials and stakeholders to come up with solutions to the country's energy problems. The House Committee will hold another meeting on the issue at an unspecified date.
ViaTimes, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. ViaTimes for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. ViaTime has very interesting columnists. You name it, ViaTimes has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call ViaTimes at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of this show today. I have two wonderful people who are from different states today and will be talking about a wonderful Philippine product. And I'm happy to welcome to my show Miss Maria HALEEM. She is the state manager for the state of Illinois for Tanduay. Remember Tanduay? Many of you I know is very familiar with this product or with this name, and we'll talk more about it. And this guy with us is Mr. Joseph Chong. Did I pronounce your name right, Joseph?
Yes.
Joseph is the national manager for Tanduay in the U.S. And help me welcome these two wonderful people. And this is my first time to be talking about Tanduay, but this is a very familiar name in the Philippines. And just mention Tanduay, and some men will get so excited. So, all right, and. Okay, first thing, let us tell our viewing audience what Tanduay is all about, because many are Filipino Americans and they've never heard about it, but many are Filipinos from the Philippines, and so they are familiar with Tanduay. Joseph, what is Tanduay? Ram. It's Tanduay Ram, right?
Yes. So Tanduay is a 167 years old company. So it was established 1854. It's from the tropical islands of the Philippines. So we're using sugar cane as our raw materials. So molasses from sugar cane. We're using A-grade molasses for our rum. So we have different distilleries in the Philippines. So we have one in Laguna, one in Batangas. We have one in Cagayan de Oro, and one in Negros Occidental, I believe. So yeah, it's a number one rum. Currently, the number one selling rum in the world for 3 consecutive years. So we were able to get the number one spot since 2017. So 17, 18, and 19, we are the number one selling rum in the world. And then we are still waiting for the figures for 2020. So we're expecting it to be out by end of this month, June. So yeah, so for our kababayans here in the US, you don't need to ask your relatives from the Philippines to bring you a bottle of Tanduay. We now have Tanduay bottles here in the US. Not all states though, but we are pretty much well distributed, or we now have Tanduay products in most of the states that the Filipino-dominated population here in the U.S. So mabuhay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, in what states here in America is Tanduay distributed? What?
We started with Florida, Illinois, California, and now we expanded to Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Hawaii. So we are New York. Sorry. So we are now, I believe, in 11 states currently.
And it's really in 11 states and really expanding fast. And you want to conquer more states, right?
Yes, we're still working on. Hopefully, we can close like 3 more states within the year.
Okay, Maria, for the manager who covers the state of Illinois, how are you doing in the state of Illinois as far as Tanduay distribution or marketing is concerned?
We're doing very well in the state of Illinois. It's been accepted very graciously, and we have consumers that are amazed that there is a rum made from the Philippines, because the consumers are pretty much, relating rum with the Caribbean. And so when they discover that the Philippines has been making rum for 167 years, it's pretty exciting. The brand in itself is just amazing. The flavors, the rum is very how can I say? The rum is natural, and it tastes really good.
I bet, and so soothing. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
It's all natural. It's yes. Which it deserves the #1 position.
So, are there? Of course, there are some rum products, really good products. I mean, well-known products besides Tanduay that are being distributed in the country. I really am not familiar with some of these brands, liquor brands. So
yes, there are many.
There aren't any?
There are many.
Oh, many. Okay.
Many.
All right. Well, Tanduay, do you think Tanduay will really become as the #1? Oh, Tanduay is already known as the #1 in the world, right?
In
Yes.
terms of selling, yes.
It is.
Mhm.
When did they get the reputation as #1 in the world for the rum?
We got the #1 spot 2017, and then for 3 consecutive years we were able to maintain the #1 spot. So that is based on 9-liter cases sold around the world.
So what is it? What is it about Tanduay rum that makes it so exceptional in the taste? What is is there any particular ingredient that makes it so exceptional from the others?
It's
We use heirloom sugarcane.
Yeah. So
Go ahead,
basically,
Joseph.
yes. Yeah, basically, Maria is correct. One of the key point that Tanduay has is the raw materials. So we're using heirloom sugarcane, as Maria mentioned. So sugarcane is indigenous to Southeast Asia. So we are using original sugarcane from our history. So it's one of the best quality of sugarcanes in the world. So the Philippines has a tropical climate, rich volcanic soil. So the quality of sugarcane is really one of the best in the world. And then we're using A-grade molasses. A-grade molasses is the first press from the sugarcane juice. So it has a lot of sucrose from the juice. So those are the secret ingredients of Tanduay. And then we collaborate with different master blender and to come up with really good quality of rums that we release here in the US.
You know what, Joseph? I am very familiar with sugarcane. When I was growing up in the Philippines, we used to go to a farm just to pick or cut. You have to cut it. It's a really long stem, and we had to cut it and really chomp on it. Like it's a different kind of eating, and was delicious. You're right. The Philippines has the best sugar cane, and I experienced it in my childhood, and really very very good. I That was it. I never experienced it anywhere else. And well, Maria, back to you. So how can we welcome our kababayan, or even not kababayan, because we have viewers that are non-Filipinos here on CPRTV, and to how can you invite them to try in Tanduay rum?
Well, we offer in-store samplings. We sponsor many events throughout the year. We have an event coming up with the Lincoln Park Young Professionals. I believe it's next Thursday. I'll have to check the date. But we sponsor events. You can follow us on the Tanduay Instagram account and Facebook page. I usually tag those pages. We're pretty much everywhere. It's mainly the store samplings, though. Mainly the store every weekend we have samplings throughout the state.
This month of June, we are celebrating the Philippine independence. I think it's the 123rd year anniversary. And I think you guys, Maria, you might want to invite our kababayans for the sampling that you're talking about. So wherever you're gonna be, and through ViaTimes starting this month, there will be Tanduay will be featured, right, Maria? And starting on CPRTV today, and
Yes.
and ViaTimes for the for the rest of the year. Okay, what else before we sign off? Do you want to talk about Tanduay? Joseph?
Just to add, we are the official rum partners of some NBA teams also. So we are the official rum partners of the Phoenix Suns, Milwaukee Bucks, Golden State Warriors, Minnesota Timberwolves. So we have 4 NBA teams that are partnered with. So every time you go to the arena of these NBA teams, you can see Tanduay sign everywhere inside the arena. And we're coming up with special individual boxes that is collaborated with these NBA teams. So we have those special boxes that are coming out maybe mid-July, for those states that are we're going to have. And then we are also sponsoring the Filipino Food Week in Hawaii, for which start tomorrow. So for the whole week, they're having a Filipino Food Week. There are I think 20 establishments within the Hawaiian Islands that will be featuring Filipino cuisine and Filipino cocktails. So we are celebrating Filipino Independence Day through the Filipino Food Week in Hawaii. And then I believe in Florida, we also have some restaurants and bars that are celebrating Filipino Independence Day with Tanduay.
Wow, that's a very busy filled in activities for you, Joseph. And do you have to travel a lot like this every time for the promotion, for the Tanduay promotion?
Usually, yes. It really depends if it's really needed. So I usually try to be present in every event. So yeah, and meet all our kababayans in every state.
Are you kababayan? Are you Chong is? Are you half Filipino, Joseph?
My dad is a Chinese, but my mom is from Dumaguete.
Oh,
And I'm born and raised in the Philippines.
all right, very good. And how about you, Maria? One last word. But what you do here in Illinois about Tanduay?
Well, we have a lot in store. Since the state is finally opening up, you will find us in more restaurants and in more special events. As we open up, we will be sponsoring more events. And you can always find us at Binny's and local independent stores in the meantime. And if you're lucky, you could probably catch a sampling somewhere. They're pretty random all over town on the weekends.
All right. Yeah, how about some Filipino American restaurants around town?
Yes, you can find us at Mora Asian Kitchen at Sunda. We're currently at Kamahachi, Ryu Asian Barbecue, to name a few.
Okay. All right. You guys are both doing a great job, and I wish you good luck. And
thank you.
And
thank you.
Happy Philippine independence to both of you this month. And good luck to what both of you are doing. And maraming salamat po sa inyong dalawa for gracing our show today. Joseph and Maria, it was really, I really had a wonderful time talking to both of you today. And you have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Mabuhay.
Salamat.
Bye.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
On behalf of Veronica, Meredith, please. And now, before we end, are the Athenians going to sing their variant song? Memorize pa ba? No. Kaya?
Before we call the Athenians, one more song from Jovi Kama, and then the
okay.
Athenians.
So, a special request from my nanny. It's like my second mom here in Chicago. I will be singing for the last time for my nanny, my second daddy in Chicago, and will always be. So, nanny, I already miss you. I miss your adobo. My favorite adobo that you will cook, even though regardless of what time I'll be coming to Cprtv, you will always have that. Your generosity will be missed forever in your love. And Nani, I'll try to sing this song for you and Nani. Hindi kita malilimutan, hindi kita pababayaan, nakaukit mapakailanman. Sakit pa na ang iyong pangalan, malilimutan ba ng inang ang anak na galing sa kanya? Sanggol sa kanyang sinapupunan, paano niya matataligdan? Ngunit kahit na malimutan ang anak niyang tangan, hindi kita malilimutan kailanman. pabayaan. Hindi kita malilimutan. Kailanman di papabayaan. Thank you, Naomi, for the wonderful and beautiful memories. They will be forever etched in my heart. You'll be sorely missed. I love you, Naomi. Rest in peace. Say hi to my dad. Until we see you again in heaven. Rest in peace. I love you, Naomi. Stay strong.
Thank you, Joby. I love you.
For our final song, may we request the Athenians, please come forward and dedicate your song to Joe, who was very, very proud of being an Athenian. And we'd like to thank everybody who's here today from 1 o'clock up to now. Everybody again made a lot of sacrifice to be here just to show support and love, because in one way, Joe touched us in different ways, whether it was through humor, through service, through compassion. Sometimes he was infuriating, especially, when he refused the vaccine, but that's Joe and Veronica. But we're here to hopefully help to take care of them as friends and extended family. So Veronica, hindi ka mag-iisa. You're never gonna be alone. And now we'd like to call on the Athenians to dedicate their song to Joe. Thank you, Brigitte, Kayla, and of course, Joby. Thank you. Father, sama ka na.
Alam ko nila yun eh. Iba yung kanta namin.
Sure.
Right, okay. Please, meron ko. James.
Rafi, help with the microphone. Harap sa kanila.
By the grace of Joe. By the grace of people.
It is our battle song. It is our fighting song. And these days we are engaged in this one big fight of our lives. We remember that battles are very much part of who we are. We are no strangers to battle. We remember Ignatius Loyola. We remember Pamplona. Remembering all this, we know we will never surrender. We will not surrender our faith in ourselves, in one another, in Our Lady, our faith in our Lord. And so we pray, as we sing, we pray, Mary, to please keep us constantly true. To pray, to please help us keep the faith. Faith in ourselves, faith in one another, faith in her, and faith in the love of our Lord. One big fight.
We would like to welcome all of you to Baladna Jewelry. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Baladna Jewelry.
Salamat po.
Good afternoon. This is Brigitte Carino Cueter bringing you this week's local news from our community. Testing.com, a trusted informational guide for medical lab testing and at-home screenings, has published a survey about relationships and dating habits during the COVID-19 pandemic. The organization surveyed 600 Americans aged 16 to 54. According to the recent report, 33% of singles have not yet dated since the start of the pandemic, and 16% only date virtually. For singles meeting potential partners in person, 1 in 4 require proof of a COVID-19 vaccine, 61% require masks, and 48% prefer meeting outdoors. Approximately 23% of survey respondents said they contracted COVID-19 from a first date. It's no surprise that dating during COVID-19 has been challenging for single Americans to navigate, says clinical lab scientist Adele Carso. Although 1/3 of the people we surveyed stopped dating altogether, others are taking safety precautions in order to protect themselves and others, such as requiring mask usage, proof of a vaccine, or a negative COVID test. If you were anywhere near Robert F. Kennedy Stadium in Washington, D.C. on Sunday, you were probably in awe. That's because, according to the Washington Examiner, a staggering 50,000 motorcycle-riding U.S. military veterans decked out in American flags and patriotic apparel converged on the area for an event known as Rolling to Remember, which is a tribute not only to those who went missing in action, but as a method to raise awareness about veterans' mental health issues. The patriotic ride was hosted by American veterans, AM Vets, who rode from the stadium to Lincoln Memorial and then past the U.S. Capitol building. Many of the members have been involved in the event for decades. Marvel star and all-around awesome American Chris Pratt issued an unforgettable tribute to America's fallen troops on Instagram in honor of Memorial Day. Pratt shared a series of photos that he saw on the channel of Green Beret and mixed martial arts fighter Tim Kennedy, and felt compelled to encourage his fellow Americans to really take the time on this day to not simply mourn, but to also reflect on the noble sacrifices of America's men and women in uniform, and all that the nation has been given through their blood and toil. America's exceptional armed forces have altered the course of the world for the better, Pratt wrote. From the Union Army defeating slave-owning Confederates to the greatest generation and her allies vanquishing the Nazis, or our special operators hunting down the perpetrators of 9/11, we count the names of each fallen soldier lest they be countless. Now accepting nominations for the 2021 NAPABA Awards. For over a decade, NAPABA has annually honored outstanding attorneys and organizations that make an impact in the legal profession and within the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. NAPABA is proud to shine a spotlight on the exceptional achievements of its membership. Previous award recipients include Vice President Kamala Harris, U.S. Senator Mazie Hirono, Rear Admiral A.B. Cruz III, Executive Vice President, Chief Legal and Policy Officer, and Secretary of 3M, Ivan Fong, former Principal Deputy Solicitor General of the United States, Neil Katyal, former Mayor of San Francisco, Edwin Ma-Lee, Ambassador Gary Locke, Civil Rights Attorney Dale Minami, Chief Justice Tani Kantil Sakauye, Chief Judge Sri Srinivasan, Judge Amul Tupper, President of Queens College Frank Wu, and Helen Zia, to name a few. In an effort to ensure households facing eviction due to COVID-19 receive financial relief and stay safe and secure, the Illinois Housing Development Authority, IHDA, and the City of Chicago released the following statement. As renters and landlords continue to face financial hardships, fair and equitable access to rental assistance is crucial to keeping families healthy and housed as bills continue to accrue each month. IHDA Executive Director Kristen Faust said, "We are committed to distributing these rental assistance funds as quickly as possible to all 102 counties throughout the state to provide relief where it is needed most. If you have fallen behind on rent as a result of this terrible pandemic, I encourage you to contact your landlord and apply for help today." After a brief hiatus in 2020, EuroAsia Shorts returns this 2021 with a new online streaming format and more incredible short films from Asia, Europe, and the United States, presented by embassies and cultural centers based in Washington, D.C. These are free and available to viewers across the United States from June 4th through the 18th. Join an international cinematic dialogue that is uniquely Washingtonian as we celebrate 15 years of EAS in 2021. EuroAsia Shorts 2021 will have 6 programs tied together by the festival theme, Together in Dreams, and includes post-film discussions and special video messages from the directors. Humanity is united by our need for social connection, to be and to stay together. And yet, amid a global pandemic, traditional togetherness has become a mere dream shared by millions around the world. That's all for today. Thank you for watching our news this week. This is Brigitte. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Dr. C, and welcome to the Chicago Eye Institute. I'm a Filipino American ophthalmologist that's been working here at the Chicago Eye Institute for the past 15 years. Now, each month, I've been asked to discuss certain diseases of the eyes which you may have questions about. This month, I wanted to concentrate on blurred vision. Now, while there are many different causes of blurred vision, one of the most common issues is simply a cataract. Well, what is a cataract, you might ask? Simply put, a cataract is a cloudiness of the lens that's inside the eye. As time goes on, these lenses get cloudier and cloudier and cloudier, affecting our vision. Patients may complain of blurred vision, glare, halos, problems seeing at night, problems driving, even during the day. If those things are starting to affect you, it may be because of a cataract. Well, what to do if you have a cataract? Well, usually cataracts are mild enough that a simple change in glasses may be all you need. And if that were the issue, then we'd simply send you to see an optometrist. However, as these cataracts worsen, no matter what we put in front of the eye, your vision may not improve simply because of the cloudiness inside the eye. And it's at that point that we may consider surgery. We may need to consider going inside the eye to remove the lens and replace it with a clear lens. Sounds scary, but actually it's fairly simple. Typically, patients are in and out of the hospital in a few hours. The actual surgery itself, surprisingly, only takes about 20 minutes or so. Patients are then able to go home the same day, and by the next day are already seeing better. Usually by the next month, the eyes are completely healed. Now, there are 2 different ways that we do cataract surgery. The first way is the traditional method, which is by hand or manually. I manually extract the lens after breaking it up. The second way, and the newest method of doing cataract surgery, is laser-assisted. Laser-assisted cataract surgery allows me to enter the eye blade-free. It also allows me to break up the cataract blade-free. And lastly, it allows me to correct for astigmatism, which we'll discuss in a later segment. So nowadays, we do have several different options, not only of removing these cataracts, but also of the types of lenses that we put inside the eyes. Now, all those things we can discuss when you come in to see us here at the Chicago Eye Institute. We now have a new location at 5086 North Elston Avenue. If that sounds familiar, it's simply down the street from Seafood City. So come on in, get your eyes checked, and then go out for lunch afterwards. Again, I'm Dr. C with the Chicago Eye Institute, and I look forward to serving you and serving the Filipino community. Thank you, and see you soon.
So